All right, Mix 1041 and MixTV.tv. Right now we are joined by our friends Jay and Brittany Hagee with Allon Planning Partners. We're so glad to have them here in the studio with us today. And something that you guys are big on is being proactive rather than reactive as far as financial planning goes. So we kind of talked last time, gave some examples of some steps that people can take to maintain that positive trajectory. So if you will, go ahead and mention a few more steps for us today.
Yeah, so just to talk about the proactive versus reactive approaches. There are so many things in life that we cannot control, especially when it comes to our, financial matters. We cannot control
the economy. A lot of
the
times,
economy.
right?
We cannot control what markets do and how the economic cycle flows. We cannot control inflation. We can't control taxes and what that's going to look like. But we can control how we're positioned in times of market volatility. We can control how we choose to spend and invest and save our dollars, right? So focus on what we can control. And so that's this whole concept of proactive versus reactive. Instead of just responding or instead of just reacting to maybe a change in tax law, being prepared and setting yourself up for tax-free benefits in retirement. Okay,
That's right.
So there's strategies that you can utilize when you take the time just to take a look and plan not just for today, but actually planning ahead. And that's what we want to talk about.
Yeah, so we gave a couple examples last time, and we want to kind of pick up where we left off there. One of the big things that people want to be proactive on in their financial planning is their debt levels. Now, we understand that some debt is good debt. Some debt is bad debt, So having a coach to kind of walk you through, is this good debt for me or is this bad debt? If it's you got to put it on a credit card that's revolving at 30% interest, probably bad debt, right? If you're going to school or you need to take a loan to advance your career or you're trying to buy a home, these can be examples of some good debt. So like having folks coach you of what's appropriate and what's good debt and bad debt, that's what we do. We help people make proactive decisions so that you don't find yourself a slave to your money, but you are using your money to work for you instead of you work for it.
Right.
And so that's ultimately what we want folks to do when it comes to a proactive approach of should I take on debt or should I not?
Yeah, and the same goes for taxes. Taxes is another big one that I mentioned just a moment ago.
Huge.
Planning ahead, not just, every year in April, we're looking at our taxes. But what we want to help people do is not just look at the current year, not just look at how my financial decisions and investments are impacting my current year tax-wise, but how is it going to impact me 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, when I get to the point of retirement 15 years down the road? What's that going to look like? Because, again, there are strategies that you can utilize to set yourself up for some tax-free benefits. We do not know what tax rates are going to be in the future. We do know what they are now. But we do know that they're probably going to rise. I mean, the current tax law will sunset in 2026, and so we're going to see some real changes coming. And so if we can go ahead and make some adjustments now and do some planning, we can set ourselves up with these tax-free buckets to be able to not have all taxable income in retirement, which is what you want.
That's being proactive.
You don't want to get to retirement and have all of your income coming from these taxable sources and taxes be on the rise and you just be paying an arm and a leg in taxes and not really getting to benefit from what you've saved your whole life to enjoy in that season. So again, strategy and proactive approach.
Yeah, and one more example I want to give, and it's on taxes, but we call it the hidden tax.
Yeah.
And we've all felt this over the last year or so for sure, and that's inflation. So inflation is the hidden tax you're going to pay more over time because your purchasing power will decrease. So you have to plan and be proactive with inflation in the forefront of your mind, just like taxes should be and things like that. So we include inflation planning in our planning as well when we're walking people through what's retirement going to look like for me, and am I eligible for retirement right now, and when would I be available, right? Social Security planning, all of these things go hand in hand, but the tax planning and the inflation, the hidden tax planning is very important to be proactive on.
You cannot escape tomorrow's responsibility by evading it today. You have to face it at some point, Why not face it
proactive.
on your terms, in your timing, determining, hey, before the moment comes where I'm going to have to handle this, let's take a proactive approach. You can't escape it. You've got to face it.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about, being proactive
Absolutely.
in your approach.
And if you come in and see us, if you're listening today and you're saying, I don't know if I have been proactive enough, I don't know if I do have a true financial plan, I may have somebody giving me investment advice, but is that a true comprehensive, proactive approach? I would say come get a second opinion, because we're going to uncover things that you probably haven't thought through before. We're going to uncover things like the tax planning piece and like, am I most efficient in the way that my taxes are being brought out? We're going to look at the estate planning piece. If I'm disabled or when I'm deceased, how do these assets that I've amassed get to my loved ones most efficiently without Uncle Sam sticking his hands in the jar, right? Also, investment management. Are you allocated correctly? Have you taken a proactive approach to like what the market cycles are going to do to your retirement? Income planning. I could go on and on. We're going to uncover under every rock and be proactive as we can to walk you through, so that you can take we call it the SWAN plan, a sleep well at night plan, so that you don't have to stay up stressed out wondering if what's going to come tomorrow. But if you take a proactive approach, you can have peace in your finances, and we want to help you get there.
We're talking with Jay and Brittany Hagee with Allon Planning Partners. So you guys would love to sit down with anyone, no matter where they are in their financial planning journey. So how can they best get in touch with you?
Best way to reach out is two ways, phone or online. You can reach us directly at 423-315-1441, or you can check out our website and connect with us directly there as well, which is allonplanning.com. That's ALLON planning.com. You can schedule a complimentary consultation directly from our website. Find out more information about us. We have a ton of educational resources. We talk so much about education and want to offer some resources to people who have questions. We know all of the topics surrounding our finances can be kind of daunting and confusing, and we want to bring some light and some clarity to all of that. So we have a podcast, we have a TV show, we have a radio show. So all of these resources that just help educate. You'll find the links there on the website. It's called the Allon Exchange, and you can find more information there and view or listen in at your convenience.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. That's Jay and Brittany Hagee with Allon Planning Partners. Thanks so much for coming in today. Great to see you.
Thanks so much for having us, Bridget. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Each individual investor's situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. No legal or tax advice is provided. Always consult with a tax professional. All rights reserved.